Hello.
Hey.
We are doing a Spring Awakening edition. We have seen 3 productions of Spring Awakening since our last road trip video, and that includes the San Jose that we saw. So let's get started. We'll go in chronological order for organizational purposes. So San Jose. So we went up to San Jose, as you all have seen, and we saw their production of Spring Awakening. We saw it at the San Jose Repertory Theater in September of last year. The best definition we could say was that we loved 75% of the show and we hated 25% of the show.
We went to go see the show mostly because there were 2 actors in it that we really like, and that was both Miguel Cervantes and Aaron Merman. We were happy to see that the people we went to go see in the show were spectacular, and that was
most important.
Yeah. This was one. This one and Asbury Park, which I saw in New Jersey last year, were the 2 that strayed the most from the Broadway production. I appreciate that. There was a lot of different outfit choices and blocking choices, and the stage and settings were different, and I just thoroughly appreciated that.
And not to mention how spectacular the choreography was all throughout the show. Their rendition of Bitch of Living
was remarkable.
It was so great. It was so great. We looked at each other and we were like, holy shit.
I'm so glad we're here right now.
Yeah.
They had television screens both above and on the top sides of the stage, and then they would then project images to portray where they were. They were in the hayloft. You could see through the wooden slats, the thunderstorm brewing.
And it was really helpful because I think the first time I saw Spring Awakening, I had no idea that they fucked in a hayloft. I didn't know where they were.
Yeah, no.
You really can't tell. So
because they used like one word in one line to really establish setting.
Exactly. So it was really helpful, especially if you've never seen Spring Awakening before, to kind of know where you are.
And I mean, I think one of the reasons the original production of Spring Awakening doesn't like, hey, they're in a hayloft, is because they want the settings to be digestible, so you can apply it to your own life and it can become something that is relatable to the modern world. I don't think what San Jose did made it unrelatable. You knew they were in a hayloft, but they were still using TV projection.
But one of our favorite things was that it strayed away so much from the Broadway production because we want to see something different. We've seen...
Like we've said, we've seen a lot of
productions of Spring Awakening. And they're all pretty much identical.
There's just so much in every single scene and in every single line. There's just so much you could do with it, and there's so much to be said. So it's really heartbreaking and disappointing when you pay for a ticket and you get excited to go see a production of Spring Awakening, and you're basically watching a bootleg of Broadway.
I'd love to see someone come up. Someone who has never seen the show before, doesn't know anything about it. We would love to see what they come up with.
Yeah.
Because that would be something worth seeing. My friend who goes to, St. Mary's up north, they're putting it on now. Because now that the rights are out,
everyone is doing it.
Literally everyone is doing it. So they're putting it on. And she was like, oh yeah, the director's doing exactly Broadway. Like, he's a fan, he doesn't want to ruin it.
This is the thing. Broadway, when you purchase... the rights to do a Broadway show, you get the book and the score. It's just like when you read a play. When you read Romeo and Juliet, all you have is Romeo says blah, blah, blah. Juliet says blah, blah, blah. 1 or 2 lines of stage direction. Romeo says blah, blah, blah. You as the audience member and you as the person putting on the play are supposed to be able to interpret and make those kinds of decisions. Like, goddammit, if you don't want Venla to wear white, she doesn't have to wear white. You should decide to put her in white because that's your interpretation of white represents her purity, or white represents her innocence, or white represents her ignorance, whatever you want it to. You should not do it because that's what Venla wore on Broadway.
At the end of the show, they did an encore of Song of Purple Summer, and they kind of came out into the audience and everyone sang. I really liked it. I thought it was really
I got to
cute.
sing along.
Yeah, it was
I've
fun.
always wanted to be in Spring Awakening, so.
It was a very low budget production. And I think
at least it felt like it.
I hope it was a low budget.
If it was low budget, they did an awesome job. If it was high budget, I don't know what they spent their money on.
The choreographer.
Maybe. I
I really hate being mean, but so there were 3 main things that they did that just really bothered us, where we would look at each other and we were like, what the fuck just happened? The first was randomly, like Melchior and Moritz came out and played their own guitar.
All that's known
for
Melchior played guitar. Don't do sadness.
Okay. So, you know, like in the Apple commercials, where it's like the neon background and then the white kind of, shadow figure of a person, but you can't, see the facial or anything?
It's called a silhouette. It was like we were watching an iPod commercial.
Well, Moritz was playing on an electric guitar during my junk while
Hanshin's masturbating,
is jerking off. Every time they pan to him jerking off, there's like an image of a keyhole. And whenever his dad would be like, Hanshin, that's enough in there, they would have the keyhole and they would have an eye just like looking in the keyhole. And it was so weird.
During The Dark I Know Well, they had the adult man's like face, like giant face, lean down the couch and say, "It's story time, Ilsa." We loved the TV screens for setting, not for projecting actors, or that was just strange. We're really happy we got to see it.
Yeah.
Miguel became my favorite Moritz, and he had to beat out Gerard Canonico as my favorite Moritz, which for me, nobody else had ever come close to him. And Miguel won. So.
All right, second production of Spring Awakening we saw here in LA. It was an over-the-moon production. We saw this on St. Patrick's Day of this year. Really high expectations. We knew someone in the cast, and, we were able to kind of see pictures and, see, like, video clips of, like, promotions, and it was all really great. Like, oh my god, this looks so good. Like, it's awesome. Look at how, this is a great playbill.
This is the San Jose playbill.
If you were to compare these two, which would you think is the better production? You would think this one is. Well, it wasn't. What it felt like to me was a huge fangirl of the show decided that she wanted to direct Spring Awakening and do it the exact same way, except shittier.
It was very true to the Broadway production in the way that San Jose wasn't, in the sense that they had their microphones, they blocked exactly like Broadway did. I think there was a lot of voices that shouldn't have been in that cast. There were people who weren't really great singers. And then they, cranked up the sex. And when I first became a fan of Spring Awakening, I, for a long time, thought that they should turn up the sex in the show. It's a very sexual show. Now that I've seen a lot of productions of Spring Awakening, my favorites have been the ones that have not taken the sex too far. And I don't think that's because I'm denying the sexual aspect of the show. The show is about sex. I think just as an audience member, there's only so many underage children you can take rubbing their nipples in front of you on a stage.
It's true.
So I thought there was a little too much sex. A little bit too much sex. However, let me just make a little change to that. I appreciate every production that shows more Hanshin and Ernst.
I completely agree with that statement.
Okay, the blocking during Word of Your Body reprise was beautiful. They were on their knees and they were facing each other. I've never seen that before. That was awesome. That was
really great.
Not sure, really great. Where that was pulled from. Just in comparison, because if the rest of the show was treated like they treated Word of Your Body reprise, that would have been a badass show.
Yeah.
So
we had too high of expectations, I think, going in.
The ensemble.
They were truly great. They were really great. They were so great. The ensemble was awesome.
I mean, I loved Georg's solo. Gave me chills during Touch Me. Touch Me is one of my favorite songs ever. I thought a lot of the ensemble was great, and I'm not sure why the ensemble members were not cast as the leads.
Yeah. Also, I felt like it was weirdly star-cast. Who watched The Glee Project?
I did.
Lindsay Pierce. She was our Venla.
I went in with low expectations about Lindsay Pierce because she was a bitch on The Glee Project. I actually ended up liking her more than I expected to. However, she was given more credit, I guess, than she should have been. Molly McCook. I didn't like her that much. And during scenes where she was supposed to cry,
it was like, we want to say it looked like glitter, but I'm sure they just poured, I think she put eye drops in is what I think she did. It was so fake. The crying.
The way the
was
light
so
hit her
fake.
face, it was just like two shiny strings down the sides of her face, and it was clear that she wasn't actually crying. I would have preferred acting and not makeup to make her look sad. Anyway, there was people that were cast in the show because they were semi-famous or had a lot of experience, and none of the people that were cast for those reasons impressed me more than the people who were ensemble.
A weird star cast. The girl from Pretty Little Liars. She was Taya. And then, like, they would have, like, a special night where she was Venla. But, like, it was really weirdly casted. Like, I don't know where they pulled these. How did they even get these people?
They added an extra girl in this production.
That was weird.
They added a girl that's never, like, a female character. What did they name her? Sarah. There was Sarah in this production.
Sarah?
The opening scene where Venla is asking her mama about sex. It felt like a bad high school production.
It was one of those things where at intermission, we were really worried. We were really worried at intermission.
I was really worried during the opening scene, but then Bitch of Living brought me back. The boys came on and I was like, thank God.
Yeah. No, but I was really worried throughout, like, the first act.
The show was very visually appealing but lacked substance. I thought there were some amazingly talented voices and actors in there, and I don't think they were given the right parts. I think they should have been given bigger parts.
Overall, I mean, it's always fun to see a production of Spring Awakening for us, you know?